Hey everyone, welcome. With the introduction of their Di2 drivetrains, Shimano also reintroduced what was called at the time a compact cassette. This is a 945 tooth cassette. They used to have a 10 to 45 tooth cassette. I don't have a video of it. I'll make sure to put it in the description. But in this case, the new cassette uses a smaller cog. It does require a new tool to install, and in this video, I'm going to look at where this fits in their portfolio, what kind of applications this could be for, and all the other details that you guys expect from me. Recently, Shimano relaunched their 12-speed cassettes. I have a video about the XT 8200 versus 8100. I'll make sure to link it in the description. You can check the details over there, and I will try to compare this 945 tooth with that 8200 if I can. And yes, I do know about all the slew of pure mechanical drivetrains that were just launched. I covered the shifters in the recent video. I'm waiting for a couple of bits and pieces to cover the derailleurs as well. Back to our cassette. Forget about the fancy boxes of the past. This looks like a road cassette. This is an XT M8200. We also have an XTR, so that will be 9200. There's no Dior version of this. This is an HG Plus cassette, 12 speed, and you see they use the same box for both versions of their cassettes. This is made in Japan. You're just gonna slide it out of the box. As usual, scan this QR code to get to their website. This is what was rattling inside: the smallest cogs. One aluminum tooth bolted straight onto the carrier, just like the design of the new 10 to 51. This is the XT, and over here 12-speed 945 tooth cassette. And just for kicks, here's the 12-speed 9 to 45 tooth XT right next to this is an 11-speed SLX, because it only had one aluminum cog, and you can see how the size is comparable and they just feel like they're made by the same company, isn't it? Obviously the design is different, and I'll talk a bit more about that when I cover the install. This used to be a plastic tab, but if you remove this piece of cardboard, you will be able to push this plastic tube out of the cassette so we can look at the construction. You have the top 6 gears here bolted onto this aluminum carrier. They kept that shiny adhesive ring right on the spider. Make sure you put it back in case it comes detached. It prevents creaking. And you can see they kept the design here, or the interface, with the Micro Spline, just like in the past. Loose cogs, we have 6 as well, so that is the 19. You have a thicker spacer here. This is 17 tooth. Again, a thick spacer right in here. Then you have, what is this, 15. Tiny spacer. That is 13 tooth. And then you have 11 and ultimately 9. These two being held together by the actual lock ring. But by showing you this, you can see how the gear steps are a bit tighter on this cassette. You have more two-tooth differences as opposed to 1051, and that could make for a better pedaling cassette, especially for cross-country type of rides. So what do you guys think? Do you like the compactness of this new cassette? I would love to hear in the comments. Now, this comes with its own set of challenges, one of them being the fact that you need this new tool to actually install the 9-tooth on the same Micro Spline free hub. More about that in the installation part of my video. But a couple of things that I want to mention before that is, number one, this is 9 to 45 tooth, 500% gear range, versus the 10 to 51 tooth, that was 510. This is not 10% difference in range, it's actually 2% difference in range. And the other difference would be in the weight of this cassette. The new XT 10 to 51 tooth cassette is 458 grams. This 945, just the spider alone, is 311 grams. And if I put the other loose cogs and spacers right on top of it, here is your 421 grams, so you're saving what, about 40 grams versus the 10 to 51 tooth. And if you're going for the XTR version of this with the titanium cogs, that saves another 100 grams or so, so you are in the 325, 330 grams range, which is really good for a 12-speed cassette. With that being said, let's quickly go over the installation of this XT cassette. XTR is the same, and again, there's no 6200 or Dior version of the 945. And this is not complicated, it just needs precision. You're gonna need that TL LR021 tool. This is a specific cassette tool for the 9-tooth cog and the lock ring that's attached to it. So you do need this, don't start without it. Second, you're gonna need your Micro Spline. This is the same interface that was launched with the 12-speed cassettes 2018. And thirdly, do not remove this plastic tube like you saw me doing it earlier. Instead, what you're going to do, just remove the two smallest cogs here. These are the only ones that come out. So 9 and 11 tooth. And then line up your Micro Spline right here on the cassette itself. Remove that cardboard tab, and with the Micro Spline lined up like this, you're going to be able to push it through all the way. Lining up the last two cogs is not complicated, you just need to be careful. This is the 11-tooth cog, and you can see that little dot right on it. This lines up with another dot right here on the 13-tooth. You got to make sure that the dots are lined up with each other. As you can imagine, we have another dot right here on the 9-tooth cog. Again, as you line it up with the other two, this is going to be perfectly aligned, and only at this point you would tighten up the lock ring. This is going to be 40 Newton meters like we've always done on cassettes. So are you guys excited about this new 9 to 45 tooth? That's 500% gear range from Shimano. I am pretty excited, especially since I did use a 9-tooth cog on an E13 cassette a while ago. This is not a cog that I used a lot, so yes, you might argue that the chain bends excessively and that causes extra friction and things like that. For a mountain biking application, I think this is a welcome offering from Shimano. Advantages would be lower weight. It doesn't look like a dinner plate anymore. It looks like a miniature mountain bike cassette that gives you tighter gear steps right in here. And one other big advantage is that this can be used with a GS type derailleur. That's medium cage that you can see here in the mechanical form. There's a Di2 version of this, and that can make for better ground clearance, first of all, especially for people with 27.5 inch wheels or rear wheels. And also it's supposed to make your bike less noisy. I guess more about that when I get the chance to review the derailleur. But what do you guys think about the new 945 tooth cassette? Did you like this video? Do you have any questions for me? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on the video. It definitely helps me with the algorithm. And until next time, hope to see you guys on the trails. Why not riding the new 945 tooth cassette from Shimano? Cheers, guys. Cheers.